creativity, culture, and story that actually move people. Creative storytelling and audience connection. How print, promo, and purpose are evolving in a digital first world. Thank you so much, Aditi. Welcome back to the Vector Art Podcast, where unpack creativity, culture, and story that actually move people. Today episode is all about creative storytelling and audience connection. How print, promo, and purpose are evolving in a digital first world. I'm really excited for this conversation with Aditi, and our guest who's today joining us from live Sydney, Australia. Aditi Rose Saksena, a writer, podcaster, long life learner who spent years in social impact marketing, shaping narrative that matter. She's mind behind Khake, a platform, a podcast focused on Earth's conscious choices, and someone who loves believe that creativity should be bold, ethical, deeply human, even in a world driven by algorithm and AI. If you're curious about storytelling involves with platform, how promo print hold power, Aditi, welcome to the podcast. It's an honor to you be here, and my audience, know about see the things from your lenses. Welcome on the Vector
Thank
Podcast.
you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
All right. So today podcast topic was creative storytelling and audience connections involving print and promo in digital world. The first question, Aditi, how was the journey as a writer and podcaster shaped the way you think about storytelling in creative marketing and promotional context? I mean, how did you manage to make this all happen?
So, my podcast did end up becoming the entirety of my whole career, like as a purpose driven marketer.
Right.
It taught me, and I worked for brands like Happy Tap and consulted across areas like menstrual hygiene and children's health and well being. And a lot of that work comes with a lot of heartbreaking stats. So, podcasting sort of helped me understand what a hook would be, what an
Oh,
emotional
right.
arc would be,
Right.
what a payoff would be.
Right.
So, an entire story. And it trained my brain to make sure that every time I was building a story or a campaign,
Right.
that is it. That was my rhythm. And best thing that I've learned is so what? When you're designing a story, when you're creating a story, remember so what?
Remember
So, like, if this happened, so what? Why would people care?
Right.
What is it that matters?
Right.
So it's just very simple philosophy. Don't perform authenticity.
Right. Right. Just be yourself. Just be who you
Just be
are.
yourself. Yeah.
Right.
And that would make your storytelling you. It'll make
Makes
you
sense.
successful for
Makes
being a
sense.
marketer.
Makes sense.
I started podcasting in the second year of my college
Okay.
when podcasts were relatively new. So
Okay.
people were putting those out and like it was just gaining its momentum. It was still being debated whether it's going to stay or not. And the funny thing is, I am someone who doesn't listen to podcasts. I do not like listening to those.
You read
And
books.
it was during COVID. I don't even read books. So my brothers used to tell me stories when I was younger. So that's
Okay.
the only way I know like some of the most classic stories. And I know Shakespeare. I know all of those because my brothers read them out to me.
Wow.
But like I never read them. So the thing is that it was COVID. Like COVID had just hit, onset hua tha. And I wanted a new skill and I wanted to test myself and I wanted to build something around a cause I cared about, which was animal conservation.
Right.
So I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. This is new. Let's see what happens. And the thing is that I was very bored with how people were framing the context of animal
Okay.
conservation.
Oh. Oh.
So it felt repetitive and it felt like that message wasn't landing. It was like it was continuously like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. And
Okay.
after a point, it just becomes
Right.
and I didn't like that. So my first series actually was about a deep dive into how myths and stories that we grew up with
Right.
actually kind of shaped how we looked at animals
Wow.
and led to their endangerment.
I'll make
So
sure I'll
our
give this links
mythology.
in descriptions.
I don't think they might be there anymore. It's been like a lot of time, so it's already taken down.
Okay.
But I wish it was still there because it was some of my best work. So it basically was like about the stories that we grew up with and how that shaped how we look at animals. And it kind of, also led to their endangerment because, okay, so like sailors had these stories about the giant sea monsters, for
Right.
example, which was just whales. And
Right.
that
Right.
eventually led to the whale hunting festivals.
Okay. Wow.
So that entire connection was a new lens that people were looking at.
Makes sense.
So for me, it took off. And the biggest lesson that was there was that research alone wouldn't matter.
Right.
As long as you don't have a lens that changes what the view is.
True.
That shifted the frame, like that shifted everything, and people suddenly started seeing that same issue but in a very different light. And that's what led to the podcast becoming huge in Germany, in UK, Canada, India, France,
Wow.
and to a point where Amazon was interested in it. So it
Wow.
had got into like that place.
Wow.
And then I kind of got bored and I stopped.
The second question was that in an evolving creative landscape like Sydney across Australia, what key shifts are you seeing in how brands use promo and print to authentically connect with audiences?
I am not from that field. So like it's not something to talk as like an industry leader in. But what I can tell you is that like as a consumer, it is incredible how Sydney is doing the things that it is. Because I've seen some of the most genuinely creative promotions and activations.
Nice.
And I am someone who loves like a good design.
Okay.
But I'm not someone who buys branded things. So if you look at my clothes, you look at my stuff, they're all plain. They have no brands on it. For me, if it's not something I'm gonna keep, it's a complete waste. And I'm a purpose-driven marketeer. So
Right.
having something like that is counterproductive, right?
Marketing with
And I also
purpose.
feel like,
Marketing with
yeah,
purpose only
marketing
brings
with
results.
purpose.
Yeah. Otherwise, there is no
Exactly.
result.
So, like, I also feel like people are now more conscious and they're more, aware of like what is authentic and what isn't. So,
Right.
if it's something that's a trend chasey thing, you will know as a consumer that, oh, you're just doing a trend.
Right.
But the way that it's done in Sydney, it is so beautiful. So, I remember this activation that was happening. It's called the People of Sydney Portrait.
Okay.
Which is basically, it is a photo booth that people went into, took a photo, it immediately transferred that
Wow.
photo onto a public wall. And it was basically a living gallery of the city in real time.
Right.
And it felt like you were a part.
Uh-huh.
You were a part of the story and not just being advertised to.
Right.
Similarly, we had Spotify Wrap, and they did like a 1 day stall in like a
So you
very
were showing some
super
Spotify
touristy
keychain,
place.
no, sometime back. You
Yes,
still have that?
I do. So that would be this.
Okay. Okay. Any interested?
So yeah.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it has my listening
Name and
minutes,
we
my
can see that.
name,
And the Spotify logo.
and the club. Yeah.
The club. Okay.
So it was like, and it was wild. This was a 2 hour thing that I had to stand in to get. But it made me want to take it because it was my personal identity. It was
Nice.
promotion, yes, but it
Nice.
was my identity. It
So
made me want to feel like I belong.
beautiful. The third question, with AI, digital platforms, and non-traditional marketing jobs emerging, what advice you give creators and marketers on blending creativity with promotional strategy for real impact?
So as someone who uses AI a lot, I'm gonna say go for it.
Nice.
Use AI. It is a powerful tool,
And some of
but
the
that
tool you
is
can
where
give, some of the tool you can say, I can write it in the content. We can give it to a
Oh,
visitor.
sure. So I'm a big fan of ChatGPT.
Okay.
Very basic, very user intuitive. I am a big fan of Sora. Some of the new tools that I'm playing around with is Speechify, which is an
Right.
AI voice generator,
Right.
and OpenAI.
Nice.
But here's the thing though, it's not your creative director.
Okay.
So don't treat it like a human.
Right,
Like
right.
it
It's
is
just
a
going to
launch
help
pad,
you. It's going to brainstorm with you and along with you, remove content for you, and how you use it wisely,
Exactly.
it's you.
Exactly. So
Right.
don't like use it for everything. Use it for content, use it for creation, but
Right.
don't lose who you are.
Nice. Thank you, Aditi. It's been such a thoughtful, inspiring conversation with redefining storytelling, creative marketing with navigating AI, non-traditional roles and purpose-led driven promotion with a lot of reflection on. This conversation was really insightful for everyone who's listening. This episode sparked new ideas around creative storytelling, print, promo, ethical marketing. Make sure check out Aditi's work and follow her journey. If you've enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this episode with someone with your creative circle. Let us know your thoughts. Thanks, Aditi, for joining us. Thank you for listeners for tuning in. Until next time, we keep creating the next episode with intention and storytelling that actually matters.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being in. What is the best email address if anybody wants to get in touch with you?
My email address basically RJYROSESAKSENA. So that's rjyrosaksena@gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the insight. It was helpful.
That
Take
sounds
care.
good.
Bye. See you soon.